Coach Stella, season 4, episode 2. We back in the place. What's going on? I'm L. I'm here with my dog.
Coach Stella, what's up, baby?
And we in the building. It's week 2.
You know it, baby.
Man, how you feeling, Coach?
Man, I'm feeling great, bro. First day of school, Summit Academy. I'm wearing my Summit Academy shirt today, repping for my babies at school. Indeed. Week 2, I'm geeked up, bro. Football, high school football season here. What's that? What we got, 2 weeks before college or a week?
I think it's a week.
2 weeks, whatever.
A week or 2 weeks.
In a couple weeks, we'll have high school Thursday, Friday, some college on Thursday, college Saturday, NFL Sunday, baby. You know what it is. It's football season, baby.
It's football season, man. It's football season in Northeast Ohio. So you know what that means. You know that me and Coach Stella at the best games, bringing you all the analysis, all the wish you were there type of insight. Let's get right into it, Coach.
Let's do it.
Let's get it started right into our Ellie House Game of the Week recap, man. We were in Paul Brown Tigers Stadium.
You know it.
The Glenville Tarblooders went back into Massillon to take on the Massillon Tigers. Not the same Massillon Tiger team of last year. They bolted up, put some new faces or some old faces in a new place. Tell us what you seen, Coach.
Like you said, Friday night, we was at the Glenville at Massillon Friday night, Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. Rematch of last year's classic game when Glenville pulled it out 31-27. You know what I mean? So they ran it back this year. Massillon got the revenge, 31-18 this year. I'm going to be honest with you, it was an ugly game. You know what I mean? You could tell it was week 1 for both sides at times, definitely from the Glenville side, but it was an ugly game. You could tell it was week 1, but Massillon did enough. You know what I mean? They got a very, very talented team. I don't think I'm breaking news there with that news, you know what I mean? But they got a super talented team. Being able to beat Glenville at any time, I don't care what time or year it is, that's a good win. You know what I mean? Home or away. So Massillon got it done 31-18. Like I said, it was an ugly game early. It was a lot of penalties. There was a lot of motions early, pre-snap penalties, personal foul penalties, all of that. But at the end of the day, Massillon got it done. What I seen from the Massillon side, shout out to junior quarterback Rasmus Haynes. His first start here at Massillon High School. Junior quarterback took over for Manny Patterson, which is hard to do because Manny had a pretty good year, been having a pretty good career at Massillon High School as the quarterback. So I thought the kid looked really poised. You know what I mean? If nobody didn't tell me, or if I didn't know it was his first start, I would have never knew by watching him and how he conducted himself, the poise, getting in and out of the huddle. He looked calm, and when he was in the pocket, even when he was getting pressure on him, he never looked rattled. He never looked like the moment was too big for him. And that's the number one thing I found out about Rasmus Hayes this week. 6'4", great presence. The thing I like about him is, of course, he got a big arm, but I like his arm talent. It's a difference between having a strong arm but having arm talent. A strong arm is just, I could throw it 80 yards or I could throw it through the car wash without it getting wet. The arm talent is being able to layer the ball, put more on it, take some off, and he did a good job with that. He throws with good touch, you know what I mean? He get all his weapons involved. So I like what I see from that young junior quarterback, Rasmus Hayes, being at his first start. So that's the number one thing that caught my eye, being that it's a new quarterback with this talented team. He got variety of people to throw to. Gio Jackson Jr. started the party off with a quick slant. You know, when you get in the red zone, slant fade, pick your poison. He could beat you with either one. So Gio got it off going. We know what Deontay Malone brings to the table. We'll talk about him soon in a minute. But he had a big night. Deontay was kind of the energy to get everything started. He was the tone setter in that game. You could tell the offensive coordinator wanted to get him the ball early. They got it to him on a bootleg behind the line, on a slide, running a slide route behind the offensive line, getting him in space. They hit him on the play action, hit him down on the post, get him down into the red zone, and eventually Gio Jackson scored. But Deontay Malone was the tone setter. You could tell interviewing him after the game, he was geeked up for this game. He was ready to play and get some rematch, and it showed in this play because he came out and he was ready to rock. And then all in all, watching them, Massillon, I know in Northeast Ohio, in my opinion, they got the best 1-2 punch at receiver in Northeast Ohio. When you got a Gio Jackson Jr. is equivalent to a 6'7" small forward in the NBA. He's 6'4", 6'5". You put him on the island in the red zone, and good luck. You're going to have a big-time corner over there that could do something with him in one-on-one situations. Deontay Malone, explosive. You can get it to him quick. You can get it to him in space. You can get it to him deep. about 6 foot, about 170, probably about a buck 80, but they complement each other perfectly. You know what I mean? In high school football right now, I think they got the best 1-2 punch in high school football. I thought the offensive line had a great night. When you look at what Xavier Owens was able to do, run for 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. I thought the offensive line did a great job also protecting Rasmus Haynes. Glenville was able to get some pressure on him at times, but it wasn't consistent. So all in all, I liked what I seen from the offense, and I'm talking about an offense that has Brayton Feaster but didn't need him at all. So that says a lot about what their offense is, but says a lot about the ceiling of their offense moving forward once you really get Brayton Feaster involved in that offense and start getting him carries. And imagine trying to close out a game on defense and you got Xavier Owens and Brayton Feaster running at you. That's going to be tough. But I thought the key to all of that was the offensive line play. They opened up holes in the run game. They protected the quarterback in the pass game. And with the skill players they got, that's all they need to do. Defensively, I thought Massillon looked like they were in midseason form. Of course, you playing Glenville, so I don't care how good your defense is, you're going to give up big plays to Glenville. But they didn't give up a lot of big plays. They pretty much shut down the run game. They made Glenville one-dimensional. They harassed LaMarcus Greenwood III. He never looked comfortable at all throughout the game. And part of that was from the defense, the front seven. I call him JRK, Joe Rush Carter, coming off the edge, playing inside. Isaac Maxheimer on one side. You got Squeak Feaster coming off the other side. So that defensive line in that front is crazy. And I thought they was the ones that set the tone as far as defensively, just stopping the run game and getting after the quarterback. So I thought the defense did a great job making Glenville one-dimensional. I just talked about Isaac Maxheimer and Squeak Feaster. Squeak Feaster on the night, 8 tackles, 2.5 TFLs, and that's 1.5 sacks. So they are both problems off the edge. JRK is tough to block. He's a big kid, violent hands. Good luck trying to block him in the run game. He's really good in the run game. So all in all, that defense is really good. And then when you look at the secondary, Christian Collier, Chance White, shout out to the young freshman Johnny Adams, number 29, got in there in some nickel and dime situations and looked comfortable. You know what I mean? The scene didn't look like it was too much for him. Gio Vincent, Braylon Gamble, Deontay Malone. I said it before the show, but I'm going to switch my opinion. I think I gave Glenville the edge as far as being the best secondary coming into the game in Northeast Ohio. I'm going to switch that. I'm going to go with Massillon. I think they got the best secondary in Northeast Ohio because of their production, but the pieces. You look at Deontay Malone, shutdown corner, good size, 6 foot. He could match up with anybody. You look at Chance White on the other side, playing the field corner, 6'1", long. He could get a chance to read and react off the quarterback and play to the field. That fits his skill set. You got a Christian Collier who's a really good nickel in high school. He could cover man-to-man. He could drop his own. He could blitz. He could set an edge in the run game. He can kind of do everything you want a nickel to do pretty much. He's just a DB playing linebacker, but also a defensive back. You got Gio Vincent that's playing free safety. The kid really could play corner. He could probably play corner or nickel for him too, but you got a kid that's athletic with ball skills, with a lot of range. They can make open field tackles. And then the tone setter to me in the secondary was Braylon Gamble. He came out off the jump. He was hitting. He was running. You felt his presence. Vocally, you felt him. And it's a kid that we talking about that's 6'2", 190. So physically, you definitely feel his presence. And he had a TFL. He had a big hit early. So all in all, when I look at Massillon, you throw all of that in the pot and you let that slow cook and brew. Good luck to Division II. I'm not saying Massillon taking it, but I'm saying it's going to be tough to beat that team when it's all said and done. And then, on the other side, let's talk about the Glenville Tarblooders. Of course, they fell down. They was on the short side of the stick this year. I mean, this year, of course, playing Massillon, bro, but they never looked comfortable. They never looked comfortable to me. And then I ain't going to talk about Glenville too much because it's Glenville. We know what type of program Coach Guillen has, his great coaching staff and great talent. So they're going to be okay. I'm not going to put too much into their week 1 loss, losing to Massillon at Massillon, one of the most talented teams in the state. I'm not going to overblow that. But the one thing I will say, the number one takeaway I took from the Glenville side was how special Sincere Johnson, C.J. Newell, Arvell Nelson Jr., Joseph Saffold, Jameer Perez, Aaron Scales, that group of kids they had last year that were big-time football players had a lot of experience and a lot of leadership. And I felt that was the one thing that was missing. Now, experience comes every week. The more reps you get, the more experience you get. So, and I know what type of players they have. They have good leaders. But when you lose the type of talent Glenville lost over the last 2 years, but more importantly, the experience and the leadership they lost, I feel like that was the number one thing that showed in their loss to Massillon. That's just my opinion. But I'm not worried about Glenville. They'll be fine. I know Coach Guillen, I have them boys ready, and they'll continue to get better week in, week out. And they definitely going to be a threat when we get to the playoffs. But all in all, I was still happy to be there. A lot of talent on the field, great atmosphere. And it was a good night. Shout out to Massillon for getting it done, 31-18.
Indeed, Coach. And, when it comes to Glenville, you kind of hit it on the head. You stole my thunder a little bit. They can't replace what those names that you just mentioned on in a 12-month period. You know what I'm saying? Those are guys that's going to go already playing at the next level, and they're going to end up, being something special in the college in the college football scene.
No doubt.
But you can't replace those guys in 12 months. You got to replace them by committee, and we already know that week one, you're probably going to get the worst version of some of these type of teams, right? Trying to find an identity, and then you going against one of the more talented teams, assembled teams in the country. So like you said, Glenville, I believe they'll be fine. One thing that wasn't in question is the competitiveness.
No doubt.
From any Glenville or Ted Ginn led team, they was out there competing. They was mixing it up, and they still gave us a great showing.
No doubt.
Now on the flip side, of course, the Feaster effect. Everybody was talking about, Braden Feaster, but I'm gonna just lean on to like them two, the brothers collectively. The Feaster effect. They 14 tackles, about 2 sacks, a few tackles for losses. They made their presence felt on defense. Squeak Feaster.
Ooh,
his name was every time we turned around, we was hearing Squeak Feaster. So the Feaster effect was definitely a factor in this game. Not the way that some people may have thought about it. With the high profile Braden Feaster, a lot of people came out. Knew it's Oregon commit, but Squeak Feaster really made his presence felt on this game.
No doubt.
Now, the other thing I want to add with the Massillon side is we got to start talking about Xavier Owens as one of the top backs in the state. That's just flat out.
No doubt.
I don't think I ever heard, or we went to see him. We've seen him a few times over these last 2 years, and I don't think he's had a subpar game. I think we kind of get spoiled here in Xavier Owens. 100 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Close, 20 carries, 15 carries, carrying the low. So shout out to Xavier Owens.
No doubt.
He's consistent. He's mild. He doesn't have a more animated personality. He just get it done. Whether it's power between the tackles or getting to the outside. He stuck his foot in the ground, made some guys miss, and closed the game for him. So
to piggyback off your point, I think that's why. He's not a kid that's all over social media trying to sell himself all the time. He's an old school type back, meaning he actually gets better every carry you give him as the game go. We live in this age where everybody want a running back that runs 4.3. You could do all this other stuff with. That's cool. And if you have that type of kid, you want to make sure you maximize their talent and use them the correct way. But when you look at a kid like Xavier Owens, big back, continue to wear on you. He's faster than what people think. Now, his long speed may not be great, but the thing he does have is good acceleration. In 20-yard span, he can get his speed up as fast as he need. And I said it last year watching him. For a kid that's 225 pounds, he has very nimble feet. He has great vision, and he has soft hands. Now, those aren't 2 things. Well, 2 of the 3 things are things you normally say about big backs. You know what I mean? He has soft hands, and he got quick feet, and then he has good acceleration. So, to your point, he doesn't get a lot of fanfare. And when you playing that Massillon with as many people that he's playing with, you got Deontay Malone, you playing with the Feaster brothers, is Massillon, and he's a quiet kid. He's just kind of coming to do his work. So that's a great point you made, but I think a lot of it is because his play style. In this day and age, it's hard to get a big back that people value and appreciate. You know what I mean? Look all the way up to college. You look all the way up to the professional level where running backs are just now starting to get paid. You know what I mean? And then once you take a couple hits, they're like, oh, he got to be done. Get him out of there. Well, Xavier Owens is an old school back. If he'd have been able to play in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and of course he could play now in the new generation. So he's definitely one of the best running backs in the state of Ohio for sure.
Indeed, man. So, yep, that was the game. That was our game of the week, our recap for our Massillon game. Now, before that Friday night lights, so we had a special treat on Thursday. We went to Cleveland Brown Stadium where Cleveland St. Ignatius took on the Avon Eagles. Coach, break it down for us.
No doubt, man. Instant classic at Huntington Bank Field. Thursday night, kicking off high school football in Northeast Ohio. Great game. Avon got it done 22-21. Our player of the game for that night was Trevor Sikora, junior quarterback, his first start that night. Did a great job. He was clutch, ice water in his veins. Led his team on a game-winning 14-play, 77-yard drive to go win it. That's hard to do for any quarterback at any level, let alone a kid that's starting as a junior in his first game for a program that has won back-to-back state championships. The pressure that comes with that is immense, and he did a great job handling himself. The atmosphere was good. Even though we were in Huntington Bank Field, a big NFL stadium, you felt the energy, you felt the student sections, you felt the crowd. So that was a surprise to me. Normally when you're in those big professional type stadiums, it's hard to get that high school feel. And that's one thing that I did like about that game. It still had that high school feel. But back talking about the kids, Trevor Sikora led his team on a game-winning drive. Shout out to Jackson Palmer, senior receiver Jackson Palmer, had a big-time catch on 4th and 8. 4th and 8 was the first big play on that drive. Shout out to Trevor. He scrambled, did a good job extending the play, found Jackson, running the drag over, did a great job layering it over top of a linebacker, hitting right in the breadbasket. And then they continue to drive. They end up scoring. Shout out to Michael Callbarn. He scored, put them down by one. You know what I mean? To make the score 21-20. At that moment, that's where you seen Coach Elder. He immediately said, we going for two. They had a play that they wanted to run, and they did a great job going out there executing. A lot of stuff that you've seen about Avon that made them back-to-back state champions, you've seen in that last drive, and you kind of seen all game. It wasn't a perfect game for them at all. They kind of started out pretty good. They kind of hit a lull in the second and third quarter, and of course they closed the game out in the fourth quarter to win it. But you never seen a kid arguing with a teammate. You never seen a kid talking back to a coach. You never seen the coach panicking. You never seen the kids lose faith and not compete. You never seen Avon stop being physical. You never seen them stop believing in each other. That's what championship pedigree breeds. And then you got a championship coach who say, yeah, we just scored, we down one. No, we going for two. We're going to try to win this game right now, get up out of here and get it done. And they did it. And this team, they respond to that. You know what I mean? If you got a coach, a state champion coach that's able to say, hey, we going for two, we want to go win it, and I'm believing in you guys to go get it done, that does nothing but help the kids' confidence and the team's confidence. You've seen that calm that they had together. When you're looking at the team as a whole, they got a pretty good receiving core. Shout out to Finn Jordanic. We seen Finn last year, big-time player, had another good game. Caden Bennett is a kid that had a good game also, had about 4 or 5 catches, moving the chains, caught some tough balls. So that's another good guy. And then we talked about Jackson Palmer, the kid that caught the big 4th and 8. And then after they scored to go down one and coach went for two, Jackson was the guy that hit in that back corner. Another great throw by Trevor, layering it over a linebacker again. He threw it at the right time into where Jackson could catch it, make sure he got 2 feet down, I think, even though he needed one in high school. So it was just beautiful to see. I was very impressed with Derek Weitzel and Josh Kelly, 2 big kids that's playing both sides of the ball. I thought Nolan Robke is a big-time player, number 50. Keep your eye on that kid. He's a really good football player, tough. I would not want to have to block him for 4 quarters. Jarrell Fenton is a player. Alex Ferreira flashed to me too, number 1, playing defense, playing linebacker for Avon. He flashed. So all in all, I thought it was a great start for the Eagles, for Avon getting that win. But they got a lot of work to do. I know Coach Elder will be the first one to tell you they got a lot of work to do. But number one thing I took from Avon, the number one thing I took is championship pedigree, winning intangibles. You can't never what Rudy Tomjanovich say, never underestimate the heart of a champion.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So the winning intangibles, the calm, the resolve, the competitiveness, the togetherness, the camaraderie, you've seen all of that. And so it's easy to see why they are back-to-back state champions. And then on the other side, Coach Tom Kaufman in his first game coaching at St. Ignatius, I think Coach Kaufman, his staff, and his team should be supremely proud in their effort, their toughness, their camaraderie, their resolve, their energy, their belief. There's no moral victories in sports, but you can still feel good about those things. You want to win the game, and it's always 2, 3, 4, 5 plays that you wish you had executed better to get the win. You know what I mean? But as far as a coach, if you could say, hey, we played with great effort. We played with toughness. We had good camaraderie. We had good chemistry. We had good resolve. We fought through adversity when we got down early. We didn't go in the locker room and point the finger. We came out with more energy and eventually took the lead. And, of course, we know Avon came back and won. So that's the one thing I would say about Coach Kaufman, his staff, and his team. They should be supremely proud about that. Now they just got to continue to keep working to get better week in, week out. But I thought St. Ignatius put together a great showing. I thought the defense, besides the last drive, of course, anytime you give up a game-winning touchdown drive, I can't say the defense had a great game, but I thought they showed signs of having a really, really good defense this year. When you look at guys like Davis Hughes III, he a grown man setting that edge. We seen him have a play down in the red zone where he blew up the tackle, the fullback, and the tailback. You don't find too many players that can make that play. He a unit, all of 6'3", 248. He's strong. He's a disruptor. I thought senior linebacker Gavin Foss, I thought he flashed, number 18. He had a couple big hits. He was running sideline to sideline. I like him because he could play in space. He didn't look like a fish out of water when he was playing in space. The Buffalo commit, James Conrad, was a menace coming off that edge. Let me put this out here, though. High school coaches, do not try to block James Conrad with a running back. That is a no-no. If you want to know why, go check this film. But you should know that going into it. But good luck trying to block that dude with a running back. That kid is a big-time football player. Buffalo is definitely getting a really good football player. So, of course, I like everything I see with James. Offensively, I think they may have found their quarterback with junior quarterback Jacob Micken. Big arm kid. You know, sometimes he try to throw it a little bit too hard, but that's something you can work on. But you can't teach a kid that has a strong arm. You can't teach that ever. So he has a strong arm. I like the running back tandem they were kind of featuring in the second half. Number 15, J.T. Hummer. I like how he run. No nonsense. Put his foot in the ground, get north and south. He got a little bit more wiggle than you think. But he's really a north and south kid that he's trying to get north and south. He's not trying to waste too much motions and play around. And then sophomore Ty McMillan. You could tell he's more of your big play type of back. He did a good job. He scored both touchdowns in the second half in the run game, but he did a good job of being ready, being patient, and they complement each other. So for a kid that's a sophomore, about 5'11", about $185, maybe 190, that's me just guessing, he got a bright future. So the offense is there. You got your quarterback. You got two backs. And then you look at the receivers. Receivers and tight ends take me. Sorry about that. Charlie Blasco, Jake Favre, Trey Haddad, Jake Lamoran, Brandon Paul, and Billy Cole, who had a big night. It's a lot there for the quarterback to work with and for that staff to work with. So I feel like St. Ignatius is going to be a team that's going to get better and better every week. I would not want to have to play them late in the year. I would not want to have to play them in the playoffs. But I can see them doing great things in the offensive line. Andrew DeValla Jr., big offensive lineman. They did work. We had a little quick exchange with Andrew on the sideline, so he showed us his personality. Big kid, he takes football serious, and he's going to try to put you through the ground when he's on the field, but off the field, he was lighthearted kid, had a little joke with us on the sideline. So all in all, I thought it was a big-time showing. I ain't going to say big time. I thought it was a good showing by St. Ignatius. I thought they put their best foot forward. But you see, this is the St. Ignatius of old that's kind of slowly coming back. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing that I kind of took as a whole. I thought the number one player for them was senior safety Anthony Angelanti. I'm going to talk about him soon in the show, so I ain't gonna talk too much about him right now. But all in all, it was a big-time football game. I was happy to be there. Two really good football teams.
Indeed, indeed. I'll just pick it up where you left off. 14, Anthony Angeletti, he was on that. As we say, he was on that. 2 picks in the game. He was coming through, popping plastic out there. Shout out to that kid. I want to give a big shout out to the Iggy student section.
No doubt.
The Ignatius student section was on fire. Like, you talk about going to watch some film, and this can be used for all the other schools out there. If you need some film on what your student section supposed to look like, go to that game. That was in a huge stadium, but they made their presence felt. They gave Ignatius a 12th man. So shout out to the St. Ignatius student section.
No doubt.
I ain't gonna lie. That's right up there with one of the most lit student sections we done seen in our 4 years of doing this. I ain't gonna lie, they had it going on.
They did.
So shout out to the St. Ignatius student section. Y'all set the bar for sure. Ignatius started out with the dual quarterback. They started out doing the dual quarterback thing, and they ended up, you know what I'm saying, finding some money and with Mickens. And he was able in the second half. They found some money with the sophomore running back mixed with, like you mentioned, number 15.
JT Hummer.
JT Hummer, he was getting up there, getting little, getting in between the tackles. And then by the time they got close to pay dirt, you know what I'm saying, the youngin, McMillan was, he was just, by then they was falling off of him as he crossed the line. Coach Kaufman, he had the guys playing inspired. You could tell he had a game plan. He came in there, and for 47 minutes and 48 seconds, he seemed like he had Avon figured out almost. You know what I'm saying? They was right there, neck and neck. The lead was going back and forth. It was a game. But like Coach Elder said during his post-game interview with you, if you sign up to play Avon, you got to play for 48 minutes.
No doubt.
And you know what I'm saying? You got to knock the champ out. That's what I kept saying at there. You got to knock the champ out. Being close, playing a great game, that's all good. But 2-time state champions for a reason. He threw his quarterback in the fire. Like you said, when it came for the 2-point conversion, it was a snap call.
Yep.
It wasn't a whole bunch of formation timeout. It was a snap call. And they got it done.
No doubt.
Shout out to both teams, putting on a great show, instant classic, and we'll have those highlights right after this segment for this game. But I also want to just I want to talk about Avon as an organization, right? So we talk about when we talk about high school football, we use the word program, or this program. But in this day and age, you know, high school football teams have become organizations with the transfer portal so open, and you know, it's less and less programs out there really developing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these programs going out there finding kids, finding players, and they bringing them right in, plug and play, ready to go. And that's just the landscape of the game right now. But when you're talking about Avon, the 2-time repeating champs, and if you talk to Coach Elder, and he speaks out about it, any interview he's in, is talking about they develop. So shout out to Avon, and that to me is a difference between what's still a program versus the new landscape of high school football, where a lot of transfers, and it's a difference between a program, and some of these programs have become organizations. And it's not to throw no shade at anything on nobody that receives, you know, some high caliber players, because that's just the landscape of the business that we in. But shout out to Coach Elder, shout out to Avon. They doing it their way. It's proven. And they gave us an instant classic. Shout out Avon, shout out Ignatius, man.
Great game, man. Hey,
that's our game of the week recap, man. We had another instant classic week 1. We had a sequel to the classic. Didn't disappoint Massillon, getting a 31-18 win over Glenville, and Avon, 2-time champ, getting it done in regulation with the 2-point conversion against St. Ignatius. We'll be right back with the rest of the
on St. Ignatius.
For sure.
Morgan Manningham, stay locked in between the lines and Coach Stella.